Executions and experiences. Let's talk about something today that a lot of overall people deal with, but I like to try to focus on things for males or men because I'm a male and a man. Um, but of course, a lot of these things I may mention and experiences and principles and morals and things like that apply to everybody. But speaking from a male's perspective, because again, I'm a male. So let's talk about something that everyone deals with, but men have a hard time letting it go. Anger, anger, anger. We as men tend to harness anger in a way. I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for a large percentage of men. We tend to harbor anger and not e- deal with it, one, or exert it, two, and three, talk about it. And those things tend to pile up and fester. And a lot of times we end up saying something or doing something and hurting people that are close to us, or sometimes people that we may not even know. So I'm going to tell you my experience with anger and an execution I took towards helping myself with that anger. So my father, my biological father, when I was 9 years old, he put me into a situation when he was having an affair with someone that he explained to me was an auntie, and told me one name, and then when he got busted, tried to tell me that he told me it was another name. I, so um, make the story, long story short, my father would pick me up every spring break, summer break. I would go to Detroit and stay with my grandmother. Loved those times. Had a lot of fun experiences, learning about Detroit and going to different museums, Grand Prix races, Henry Ford Museum, all those beautiful things. So going to Canada every time I went. Um, but my father picked me up, supposed to take me school shopping, and and instead of that, we got on the road. He was a truck driver. We got on the road. We went to New Jersey, and when we got to New Jersey, he put me in a room. Now, mind you, I'm a little kid. I don't know where I'm. He put me in a room and told me he'd see me the next day. The next day never came. I woke up in a house with people that I didn't know, kids that I didn't know. I didn't know who I was with, what I was supposed to do, but the next day never came. So I asked the lady that he left me with, who are you? And, when's my dad coming back? And she said, well, I'm Dorothy, and your dad will be back, take you school shopping or whatever. So I'm like, cool. Never came. So mind you, I'm at a person's house in another state and city that I don't know at 9 years old. They don't eat like I eat. They don't live how I live. It's just things. The lady didn't believe in letting kids watch TV. She didn't believe in letting the kids eat nothing but, hoagie sandwiches and cereal. So I was just like, man, I'm not accustomed to this, man. So, finally I remembered that my aunt had another phone line in my grandmother's house in her room. So after like a few days, I called my aunt, tell her where I am, and she was like, "You where?" And I'm like, I said, a piece of mail that I saw said New Jersey. And she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna call your mom. So meanwhile, I go ask this woman again, like, do you know my dad coming back? And she said, he'll be back, he'll be back, he'll be back. And then she said, by the way, you guys were supposed to come on Thursday. What happened? Who did you stay with? And I said, well, we stayed with my Aunt Laura. And she said, Laura, huh? And She was like, go outside and play. So I went outside, played for a while, came back in. She said, your father's on the phone. And I got on the phone, and Pops was like, I told you you were staying with your Aunt Linda. And I said, no, Dad, you said her name was Laura. And I said, she even told me her name was Laura. And he told me, he said, well, you're a little lying, MF. It's going to be a long time before you see me again. Put Dot back on the phone. Now, it's my father telling me this at 9 years old for me telling the truth about the situation. And as I got older and became a man, I'm like, man, Dad, like, if you really literally wanted your kid to cover your ass and help you cover a lie, why didn't you just tell me to say this lady's name is such and such? I was a kid. I didn't know no better. And why did you tell that lady why would you let that lady tell me her name? It's like, dude, so whatever. But, put Dot back on the phone. Nickname for a person named Dorothy. Put her on the phone. She came back downstairs and she said, I'm sorry. Your father, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean that. Little kid, I'm crying and everything. Because now I'm in New Jersey. Don't know how the hell I'm going to get back home. I don't know what this dude's plan was for me. He never showed back up. It's been like going on week number 2. My aunt haven't called me back. We didn't have cell phones back then, so it's not like he could do anything. And finally, I said, I'm going to call my mom. So I called my grandmother's house, left a message for my mom. My mom called the lady's house the next day and said, hey, my son better be fine. He better eat. I'm going to mail a plane ticket, or I'm going to pay for a plane ticket. You put him on a plane, send him back to Chicago. So got back home. Family's happy to see me. Didn't know what was going on. Never talked to my dad again to find out the situation. Don't know if the man was, in my heart of hearts, I believe he was trying to kidnap me away from my mom, because him and my mom, had they issues or whatever. But that moment, because I told the truth as a kid and what he said to me, that moment burned in me from the age of 9 into like my teenage years. When I became a teenager, I remember writing a letter to my grandmother, who was my father's mom, and told him, I don't care if he comes home to see you there, because he was a truck driver. He'd come home to Detroit all the time, with his mom and his brother. I said, I don't care. He don't never have to talk to me again. For him to lie on me and do that to me, and say that, make it was my fault, I said, I hate him, and never to see me again. I carried the anger of that situation for a long time. I took it out on myself. I took it out on people at times. It was like, it made me delve into things to try to protect my mind a little bit more. So I became, even more avid writer, poet, or whatever. I wrote music. I did more creative things, so I wouldn't like literally just be boiling over all the time. And it was a time when someone had said something to me. And at this time I was, heavy into martial arts. Someone had said something to me, and I don't know if they were playing or what. And we were in public, and they said something to me, and I roundhoused the person in front of everybody, in public, at a train station, and yeah, the guy said he was about to rob me, but, I don't know if he was just messing with me or whatever. I was young, I was a teenager. And I knew then that I had to find a way to deal with that anger from my father doing that to me and not being there. And I ended up meeting a friend at school who knew like Wing Chun, which was back then, Wing Chun was just like this amazing new thing. We had never heard of it in the martial arts world. At least I didn't as a younger martial artist, never heard of it. I just know that somebody tried to swing on this kid in one of my classes, and he did this move, and it was just like, you didn't really see him touch the person, and the person kind of like fell, and it was just like, whoa, what the, and I was like, I want to learn that. So he took me to his dojo, and they wouldn't let me like get on the mats. They wouldn't let me train or nothing like that. They made me like clean and wash windows and sweep and all this good stuff. and I would just see the people practicing, and I'm like, man, I want to get down, I want to get down. And when they finally introduced me to the Sifu, he was like, oh, I see you got friends with you. And I was like, oh yeah. I said, my friends were here with me, when we first came, but I said, they're not here with me today. And he said, nah. He said, anger, pain, and sadness. He's like, those are the friends you brought with you. He said, hopefully this will help you. And if it doesn't, he said, you'll have to find a way. But he's like, hopefully doing this craft will help you leave those friends behind, or at least know how to talk to them when they arise. Cool. Learned a little bit of Wing Chun, learned a little bit of Aikido along with the Jiu-Jitsu I was doing at the time. And from there, I learned how to look at that anger, deal with it, and make it submit and stand on my feet. Of course, a person, it's human nature to get upset, get frustrated, get angry, get pissed off at somebody, but that that fire is the fire that I control, and that thing right there, I won't ever let, I don't think there's no one walking the planet that can get me to that level, unless you hurt one of my children or my loved ones. But even still, it's like that it'll never be there where it was. Never. And dealing with the pain, I had to learn to forgive. I had to learn to forgive. I had to forgive my father. I don't know what he was going through at that time. I don't know, his relationship with that woman. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. And now, once I learned how to cope and deal with those things and let go of things and forgive, you fast forward to 2012, I get a letter in the mail asking me to verify that this man is my father because he passed. He passed away. And him passing away, it made it rumble. That anger that I had put it down under my feet, it made it rumble back up. And I was just like, this mother, to, like, I was like, I don't even know if this dude know he had grandchildren, man. I was like, it's like, I'll never get to talk to him. And I always had that dream of us one day getting together and talking again and just talking about that time and just trying to find out what the hell was going on and just learn that when he was in my life when I was younger, why he was teaching me all these military things and field stripping and, he would teach me all these military tactics and how to, get out of war zones and stuff like that at 5, 6, and 7 years old. He teach me how to field strip and clean guns and, blindfold me and have me play these memory games and stuff like that. I was like, why was he teaching me? Then why did he take me and just leave me like that? It's like, it was just all these questions, and it made that anger get right here in my throat. And I'm like, man, but then I thought about it, what the fuck am I being angry at, a ghost? I'll never get those answers. I'll never get those answers. So here I go again, about to carry this baggage of anger. For what? For what? I'm about to carry this baggage of anger for what? And be mad at a ghost. Something that you can't even talk to me. Can't even tell me the answers. I mean, we believe in what we believe in, and maybe he, his spirit in a sense is watching over me. But at the end of the day, I can't be angry at I can't. So it's like then I had to learn how to forgive again. And now I'm older and I got kids and I got sons and I got sons looking at me when I got to tell them that, man, you'll never be able to know your grandfather, but here, come sit down. Let's look at these pictures that I have with him, this photo album. And let me tell you some of the good things that he taught me that I apply to this day to help protect our home and protect you and your sisters. Let me tell you some of the good things, but also let me share with you the bad times to let you know that this is why I'm the father I am, because I don't want to be like this. This is why I'm the father I am. This is why I come home dead tired, and if I told you that I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna keep my word. Because I was once the kid waiting somewhere for somebody to keep their word on your birthday. I was once the kid waiting on the porch to get picked up, and it never happened. I was once the kid who was promised that somebody was gonna go take me to play basketball, and they never came. I was that kid who got promised that I'm gonna come watch your tournaments and your baseball games, and it never happened. So this is why dad is the way dad is. This is why dad makes it important to make you guys important no matter what. This is why dad works so hard for himself, so that nobody he has to punch anybody's clock that tells him when to come and go when it comes to you. So, in learning how to forgive at that time, it was hard as an adult. It was hard. It was harder than when I was a teenager, because in a teenager it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. It's like, you not around, you not coming around, and it's like, so teenage life is keeping me from thinking about, but now it's adult life. Now I got time to sit and think like, ugh, like, damn, but, these days, anger never catches me off guard. It's like with age comes wisdom. So, and also with age comes a little bit more guard and filters, to know that, man, your mind just catches, it's like after so many time of practicing certain things, it's almost like even with martial arts stuff, it's just there, this is just how you fight now. You don't know how to, whatever, anything you've learned how to protect yourself, this is just where it's at now. This comes towards you, just how you respond. This is how you move. This is how so. And it's important when you're dealing with like pain and anger from anything, not just that situation, that type of situation, but anything. Don't run from it. Deal with it. Look at it. Sit down. If you can't talk about it with nobody, talk about it with yourself. Write out what you're feeling. Look at it. See how you can check off that list, like how I need to change from this. Find other avenues to exert that energy in. Start working out. Start writing. Start painting. Go to a smash house. Those are beautiful things that they've created. Go to a smash house. Yeah, if you got a backyard or a garage where you want to smash some stuff that you don't care about no more, do that. Find a way. Find a way. Because a lot of times, that reaction from the pot boiling over, or that pipe getting full and then it's about to burst, that reaction, man, sometimes you can't come back from that. Don't believe that you can always say you sorry and you can apologize your way out of everything. That is not the case. Sometimes there is no going back. And a lot of people have learned that. They're either in the ground or they're sitting in a building in a box, because they learned that they should have dealt with their pain and their anger. So find a way. Fight for your life, always. Thank y'all for whoever's supporting. What am I talking about? I am talking about how to cope with anger, how to move from anger, and how to not let anger control your life and make you be reactionary. That's what I'm talking about. Looks like your name is G7, but thank you all for support. Hey, if you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to watch. You can always, turn your phone off, do whatever. But I thank those who support, and if one person gets something out of any of these executions and experiences, hey, that's all we need. One person can make a brighter day for any and everybody. Peace. Fight for your life.